All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Eagle Reality Career Talk. This is Chris Ward, the broker in charge of Eagle Realty here in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Welcome to the podcast. This is our weekly podcast show for real estate agents, brokers, all entrepreneurs as well. We hope that we do this kind of content, this audio, this weekly show to provide some value to you in your real estate career. But we really think a lot of this can be gleaned into all business areas. And so hopefully you'll be able to get something from it. I hope you go and subscribe. I don't know if you're listening on Alexa, on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening. We just want to thank you again for tuning into the podcast, and also make sure you subscribe. Go back and listen to some of the old episodes, because a lot of times we do series, like we're in the middle of a series right now. Actually, we're kind of in the beginning of a series. I won't say we're in the middle of a series, but we just started kind of the intro last week with the first podcast of 2019, and we're going to do a 3-part series moving forward, talking about pillar content. So kind of the theme around all of this is what we call pillar content, and for real estate agents especially, that you're building some very solid foundation of pillar content that you can use throughout your week and throughout your month to micro down and have a good consistency and a good frequency of content in your real estate marketing and branding. So we consider pillar content in 3 arenas: your video, your audio, and your written. So content that you create in those 3 platforms, in those 3 arenas, are used in a variety of ways on different platforms. And if you would like, you can definitely you've heard me talk about this for like the past probably 3 or 4 podcasts about getting the content manifesto that we put out for real estate agents. Just comment or DM me, message me. I will send you a free link to that manifesto that we put out as a strategy, as a blueprint for kind of how you should be distributing and creating content as a real estate agent in your business. So we want to get that out there as well, and for you to use. And that coincides with what we're talking about over the next couple episodes in what is pillar content and how should you be using it. So today's episode's about video, and I think a lot of you out there in real estate know the value of video, know how you should be using video consistently and weekly, daily in the kind of content and messages that you're trying to send out to clients, potential clients, customers, staying in your networks, and just in communication in general. But when we talk about video content as a pillar, that means you should have 1 or 2 pieces that are somewhat long form video, probably 5 to 10 minutes or longer, that you record on a weekly basis, and that you can then micro down and distribute out on multiple platforms, in addition to distributing the whole piece as well. And the cool thing about video, unlike some of the other pillar contents that we do, is that you have an opportunity to take video and really distribute it as one of the other 2 pillar contents, if you use it right. So video is super important. That's why we're talking about it first. I think in the real estate industry, because we are a visual industry, the product we're trying to sell sells from a visual aspect. I think that as a brand, and as an industry as a whole, realtors are used to their face being out there. It's one of the only industries that put your face on a business card. Like, we are a visual driven industry as well in our marketing and branding. So video works well with that. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable on video, but you kind of get over that hump, because you got to think of it as that you are branding not only listings or trying to connect with buyers, but at some point you're going to be meeting in person for the most part. So video is a great way to kind of highlight what you're all about and connect with people in a more visual sense. In our market as well, it provides a little bit more of a connection, because a lot of our people are from out of market, out of state, and sometimes I don't meet them in person as much as, but they know who I am through video content that I put out, or video communication via email, Facebook message, or however that I communicate with them, and they still feel that personal touch with video and that visual touch. So video, very important. But from a content standpoint, that video piece per week, I think, needs to be within some sort of parameter of like a show, a vlog. It could be a weekly highlight show for your local area, your local neighborhood, hot spots in the area. We have a show around here called Live Myrtle Beach, where it's kind of like highlight a community, highlight a restaurant, and highlight the realtor. So all of that, you need a weekly 5 to 10 minute or plus show of some sort that's consistent weekly, that you can use as your pillar video, and that you can pull segments out of. So then we're talking about microing down. So taking that one piece of video, that one show, or that one piece of video content that's consistent each week, and breaking that down into other uses. So you can pull the audio for a podcast with certain in certain arenas. That might not always work for like a vlog, but if you're doing kind of a highlight show, that might work as a podcast. You can also take that video and break it down as well into written or written content into like a blog post, pulling snippets from it or the audio from it, transcribing it down into written. So that's what's cool about video, and that's why we want to talk about it first, is because there's so many multiple uses for the pillar content alone, and then microing it down onto Instagram posts, Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, Snapchat, Instagram stories, and utilizing your video on multiple platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, IGTV, Instagram. I think video is so versatile from a platform standpoint. And if you read the content manifesto, you'll see that theme throughout, that it works well on multiple platforms. Now, the message and context of the video can be tweaked, the description and how you target it, and your terminology of what you are trying to come across in the audience you're trying to reach on different platforms can be tweaked with the exact same video playing. So I'm a huge fan. Some of us work well in video and some of us don't. So I think there's kind of the caveat with it is some of you guys are way better at writing. Some of you guys have a great voice and intonation, and podcasting, really works for you, or audio content really works, but you don't like how you are on camera. Maybe it's awkward. You don't know where to put your hands or something. So, there is a practice to it, but at the same time, it may not always have to be you on video. There may be a lot of B-roll. There may be opportunity for you to do voiceover into video and have an editor or somebody create a video where you're not always in it as much, but you're creating the visual sell of your area, your local expertise, your neighborhood, your brand, your listings, whatever it may be. You may be able to create video and just use audio, or you might have a team, and maybe some of your team members can create video for your team or your brand, or you can hire someone to come on that is better at being on screen, being on video, but you're still building your name, your reputation, your company, or your brand. So a couple different ways for you to be able to do that. And you don't want to neglect the aspect of video, because I really do hold it kind of in higher esteem than the other two pillars that we'll talk about over the next 2 weeks. As far as the pillar content that you want to put out, having that video as pillar and being able to utilize it in so many different arenas, so many different platforms, microing it down throughout the week, and finding other uses and repurposes for that content is essential, I think, to growing your brand and your real estate business over the long term. Again, this goes for any industry, really. I think these pillar pieces of content work in any arena for real estate, or any arena for industries. If I could talk this morning, it's kind of early. We're doing the podcast a little earlier than normal. So I think pillar content is across industry concept, but for real estate agents in particular, putting some focus on video, I think, will win. The statistics are out there that prove that, and it's the most versatile type of pillar content that you can utilize on so many different platforms and in so many different ways to repurpose that. So I totally encourage you. You need to create some sort of weekly dynamic pillar content, at the minimum one, that's a little bit longer form that you can utilize and repurpose in many different ways. If you'd love help on talking about this besides the content manifesto, I give some ideas in there, but feel free to reach out to me. I had a call from a realtor in Washington State just yesterday. I would love to connect with you and help with any ideas that I can just bring some value. If I can have any suggestions for how you can better create more content for your real estate business, I'd love to brainstorm. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode talking about video pillars. Stay tuned for the next 2, which we talk about blog and written and audio. And thank you for subscribing, and I will talk with you next week.